Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel as we continue talking once again about 1980s horror films and the year 1980. And today we're talking about Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead, continuing with our Italian horror portion of 1980. And this one is one that I remember, I think I saw this many, many years ago. Kind of like when I started getting into Blu-ray and, well, in particular, more like DVD. I believe I want to say I saw this like a very early like DVD release at one point. And, it's a film that I've never really been too fond of. But revisiting this one again, finding it on Pluto, it's better than I remember it being. I think at the time I just wasn't really used to the Italian style of horror, and and honestly, guys, I think I'm still trying to get used to it because some of them can be quite confusing. That is for sure. And I think at times this one is probably along the same lines, a little confusing at times. But you know what? It does look pretty darn good. We start off. We have this priest, and this priest is in this town of Dunwich, and he basically hangs himself. And by doing that, it kind of like opens the gates of hell for the living dead to come back. And in another area, another town, this woman by the name of Mary kind of like has this vision and sees this happening, sees that this priest has murdered himself. It looks seems like it's like a flashback, like she's seeing something that's already like taken place a while ago, and it's up to her and this other gentleman to go to Dunwich and find the grave of this priest and kind of like figure out a way to close the gates of hell. Now, the interesting thing is when we see Mary, she winds up like it looks like she dies from having this vision. She's like a part of a seance type thing, and it looks like she dies, and she winds up getting buried alive. And this gentleman that winds up helping her get to Dunwich actually winds up rescuing her when she's in the coffin. So that's a really tense moment. He has like a pickaxe and he's trying to break the coffin, and he's like, "Oh boy, like is it gonna hit her? Is it gonna hit her in the face?" And it comes pretty darn close a few times. But the gore, basically, it's what you would expect from an Italian style film as far as zombies go. Fulci has a style when it comes to how his zombies look, and this one is no different. It's gross in a lot of ways. The Italian films, they like to use a lot of like worms and maggots and just a lot of disgusting, gross things. Definitely makes you a little bit queasy at times. But overall, I think the acting, even though it is dubbed, it definitely looked like it's dubbed at times. Um, it's okay. It's not bad. The acting, like I said, the special effects, the gore, especially the gore, is just still it's top notch. Even for a film from 1980, they definitely those practical effects you just can't beat it. There's a scene in the film where we have all our main people in the film, they're in this room and the glass breaks, this huge window breaks, and all these like worms or maggots just come full. I mean, it looks disgusting, absolutely disgusting when they're getting their faces are just getting covered with these things. And those are the kind of things you're going to get in this film. Absolutely get in this film. You're going to get a lot of, heads getting torn apart, brains coming out. You're going to just go like, oh, it's once, well, without spoiling things, guys. But actually, I am. So if you guys want to, because there's no way to talk about the end of this film without spoiling. It's one of those type of films. But so if you want to see the film, you can check it out on Pluto. There's other ways you can catch this one. It's available readily, pretty much any kind of streaming site. As far as like renting goes, Pluto for free. But I think if you want to see it like Amazon Prime, you're probably going to have to pay to rent it. And the ending to this film, and the only reason why I say I have to go into spoilers is because this ending is ambiguous. It's kind of like you have to interpret it and try to figure it out for yourself. Now, I've heard some people say that the original true ending to this film was kind of like lost and destroyed, or lost or destroyed, and we don't have an actual ending to the film. It kind of like it ends on a like an abrupt note, on a way in a way with this, one of our female leads, is just screaming, and kind of like this boy is kind of like running at her, and she screams, and you don't really know what is going on, like why is she screaming. is this boy infected possibly with a, as far as like becoming a zombie maybe? Who knows? We don't know. It's like I said, it's up to interpretation. And you get that with a lot of these, Italian horror films. Not so much giallo films, but more of like, traditional like horror films, like the zombie films, like the Italian zombie films, things like that. You get these kind of like endings, and this one is no different. So yeah, guys, I gotta say this one though, definitely, even with that kind of ending, it definitely still is better than I remember it being. That I will say for a fact. I have definitely opened up my mind a lot more to some of these films. Like I said, they're still not all the greatest, but this one is definitely better than I remember. And just like Hell of the Living Dead, which I just reviewed, that one was it was an okay film. It was better than I expected it to be. That one I had never seen before. But this one, many, many years ago, saw this one, and definitely a better view of it this time upon this viewing. So that is always a good thing. And yeah, guys, so far, I mean, 1980 has been interesting. I have found some gems, I have found some stinkers, and some just pleasant surprises overall. But we're going to be going into 1981 very, very soon. We still got a couple more movies in 1980, but I definitely want to move into 1981 by the time we get to the week of Valentine's, because there's a particular movie that came out in 1981 that I honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys, I've never seen it before, and I think if you're gonna know which one I'm talking about from 1981. It's a Valentine's movie. Come on, guys. I think you could pretty much, if you're a horror fan, you can figure out which one I'm talking about. But it's one that I've never seen before, but it is beloved by many, many horror fans. So it's gonna be a great first time watch. I hope for me. But we still got to say, like I said, we still got a few more films to go for 1980 before we wrap things up for that year. And it's been fun so far. It definitely has. So, guys, like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I'll catch you in another episode. Take care.